Hey everyone. Okay, so this chapter hilariously flipped everything I thought I knew about the Straw Hat situation on its head because, as it's revealed, the Sun God is actually Road, the navigator of the new giant warrior pirates that are basically led by basically Hybridine. And apparently, the whole reason that Road has entrapped the Straw Hats in what's essentially his playroom is because he's too spiteful and prideful to accept Luffy as his superior, or even for that matter, from the decision that Haradin had made for their crew to become part of the Straw Hats Grand Fleet. And I will say, joke how much this whole scenario is played up for humor aside, I do like this idea that not everyone in the Giant Warrior Pirates was on board with basically Haradin's decision, because now even with the Straw Hats having managed to escape, there's still the problem of discourse in the new Giant Warrior Pirates. And even though I'm sure that will be resolved in some comedic way, like Harudin basically hitting Road over the head or something, it's still a problem that Harudin does need to address formally as a captain, because the thing is, if Harudin truly wants to be part of Luffy's fleet, he can't afford this kind of dissent among his own crew, which leads to the other problem I caught as well, which is that in the chapter, you almost kind of get the feel that Harudin does need to start acting more like a captain as well, because again, from what I saw with his interaction with Road in that flashback, he's got almost too much of a laissez-faire approach to being a captain, almost to the point where when it comes, Harudin almost feels like he doesn't even care about being captain, or at least that's how it seems. And if But the thing is, if Harding is serious about being part of the is being serious about the new giant warrior parts being a subordinate crew to the Straw Hat fleet, then he kind of has to start taking his role as captain seriously, and it kind of starts by dealing with Rhodes' insubordination. This is one of those chapters where it's like there's some potential for some great character growth on Harding's part, but again, he has to actually start acting like a captain, not just being this sort of like, yeah, sure, just yeah, sure, I'll figure I'll deal with this kind of thing. No, he actually does need to take responsibility as a captain for this. So yeah, it's like I understand. In some ways, I understand Harding's whole from laws a fair attitude and approach, but at the same time, he can't afford to do that in this situation. He does need to reprimand Road and say I don't know what you're doing, but you're making an ass out of yourself, kind of thing. Um, with that said, though, let's talk about Usopp in this chapter, because something intriguing happened, or at least intriguing enough to, if we are made to believe that the strength of the mirror was what it was, then because even with because if the strength of the mirror was as powerful as it was said to be, then even with Skull Blast Grass, Usopp shouldn't have been able to break the mirror. But the fact that Usopp did in fact do that, even if it was just a small crack or something, even if it was just a small break in the mirror, it kind of already shows that Usopp is already on the path towards where he needs to be in order to really be a expert marksman, the kind of marksman the Straw Hats need. He just needs that one final push, and I think the next step for him will be that will be the next step to leveling up pretty much is learning to control his haki. The obvious one being addressing the elephant in the room of his observation haki that we haven't seen him use since Dressrosa, so he needs to train that up. But with this sort of expectation set that Usopp has already broken the mirror using his pod greens, it's like it kind of sets him up in a way where he could potentially learn a form of armor and haki from this whole experience on Elbaf as well, but more so the kind that we've seen Rayleigh or Sentomaru use, the kind that projects an outward force rather than just coding. I think that's what Usopp needs to learn more than anything else, because it might be the only things that can give him an edge. Give him an edge when it comes time for the Straw Hats to fight in order to fight the Blackbeard Pirates, and for Usopp in order to fight Van Augur. And yeah, while we're on the subject of power ups, if I was reading this chapter right, Luffy has also gained a greater control over Gear 4 to the point where he can focus its power at a certain focal point rather than and make it and control the size of the gear rather than it just being one super punch at any time now. So it'll be interesting to see where the story takes that little bit. But yeah, and yeah, other than that, not much more to talk about. Although with the Straw Hats now escaping, it'll be interesting to see how the other giants on Elbaf respond to this whole thing. Because while the concern about the Straw Hats being blamed for this is a valid one, I think the fact that others were trapped there as well with Road with the Straw Hats as well gives them a bit more of an eyewitness leverage and a stronger case against Road should he easily choose to play victim in this whole thing, which, given what we learn about his character, it is very likely to happen. So it's gonna be interesting to see where pretty much Road goes, and like how much of a sniveling little a sniveling little bitch boy he's gonna be about this whole thing. Like I can kind of, from what I've seen of Road, he's the kind of character who, when things don't go his way, he's gonna whine and complain to everyone else about it, and in the hopes that he gets his way. Except I don't think he's going to. Except the thing is, I don't think he's going to get his way in this situation. Like, it feels like this is gonna backfire on Road tremendously. Something about this whole situation. So yeah, this ain't gonna work out for you in the way you think it will, my guy. But we'll just have to wait and see, though, I guess. And I guess one more thing to note is Nami. Like, her, I guess it shouldn't be too surprising at this point, but that giant lightning bolt that she brought down on Road, yeah, that's pretty powerful, which kind of also does show she's becoming much more adept at how she utilizes her climb attack with Zeus. Like, her synergy with using the climb attack while also using Zeus's power, it's kind of getting stronger as well. So yeah, even Nami is growing more powerful as well. On top of just being more observant of her surroundings, like the idea that she kind of clued into of the schematics and how this and just how the whole layout of this little room worked. It's impressive. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll, by shooting the notification bell, subscribe button, and just share it around, guys. Dark Knight of Venus signing off. Later, everyone.